I always feel like I'm missing something, but should be good. What's up? We're back again. We have this gigantic F250, which I probably have to now extend my floor for something like this. We're going to be doing carbon on all the sides and the rear. We are going dark. And this is a newer work truck, but this is very much a work truck. So a lot of dust and dirt on the inside, but it's no big deal, and you'll see why. This type of stuff, this is day-to-day stuff. So what's up, dudes? We all working today? Looks like we're good. Hey yo. Good stuff. All right. I forgot to charge batteries yesterday. So I'm going to have to take a second and convert this to the old style, and we should be good to run the way we used to. Uncle Matt. Why am I Uncle Matt? Aren't I Dad Matt now? Well, I guess that would be weirder. No, Uncle Matt's fine. Y'all are talking on my monitor over there. We're going to switch you over to my headset. I'm sorry. It's fine. It's a recurring thing now. It's too late to go back. Lucky Monkey, DW, Warland. Oh, you know what? No, that's worse. That's way worse. Father Matthew. No, let's go back. We're going back to Uncle Matt. Father Matthew. Yeah, no. Okay. This should just plug in here. And then this should come down here. Frankenstein. Excavator. Mini excavator. Curious if you ever tinted one. No. No, that is something I would happily decline now. Nobody ever brought stuff like that to any of the shops that I worked at, probably for good reason. Oh my God, I think we're good. Yeah, we are Frankensteining this thing back to how it used to be. Which is pretty good. As good as a backup. I don't know how long these batteries are going to last, but I'm assuming some of them are charged. I mean, that's how we find out, right? Look at that. Old setup pulls through. I just didn't charge. I've got 2 spare batteries, and I noticed nothing was charged. Excavators are a pain. Yeah, I can't imagine that's super fun, which is one reason I don't want to do them. I mean, if they could bring it in, one of the other problems is just they're outdoor work machines, right? So it's just not going to be a lot of fun. Work truck is about as much as I do. All right, let's put that. Zippity-doo. Oh, yeah. That's it. We're all TV antennaed up now. You look like you just got a haircut. I definitely did not. I need one, though. All right. just call you Uncle Matt because you are like the smart tint uncle who gives good advice. I appreciate that. All right. Check. Let me know on this mic. We have you plugged into the other power supply, which should be totally fine. No problems. There we go. Okay. All right. Now there's audio. The cars get bigger, but the windows don't. Yeah, that's one reason trucks are awesome. What film quality are you using? We're using carbon, good quality carbon. What do you use to dry shrink a window? Either dryer sheets or dry shrink prep. I feel so short now. Oh my God. Yeah, so a big vehicle like this, and honestly, it's not even near as lifted as what it could be. It's just an F250, and boy, is it long. The windows don't really change, though. They can, but on most of the models from one to the next, they're going to be basically the same. Didn't think you were going to live stream because it's starting so late. So somebody had the morning spot booked for a windshield, and he needed to be out. Like he was here at 10. He had to pick up his son by like 11:30. So I was like, ah. My other knife. Where'd the good knife go? That's something that usually doesn't go missing. Well, maybe it fell out in the Tesla. That would be like super annoying then. Huh. Well. Students. All right, we'll open up a new one. You and Patrick stream at the same time, have one in each ear. Does this come with a stainless now? Sometimes they do. Yeah, this one actually has a stainless in it. Cool. That's always convenient. So when I first get a knife, these snappers, they sometimes like to slide out. So if you pop these a little bit out, it just tightens them up a little bit more. Yeah, I usually have 1 or 2 in my belt, and inevitably I lose them. Everything's kind of a mess right now because I'm getting organized. So we've Jack has successfully moved most of the stuff out from all here over here, but he's now straightening it up. It looks very nice. Very nice, very open. We're gonna mop the floors and stuff. It'll be good. I have 3 red dot knives now. Red dots are kind of like pens. They're the pen of the tint world, and it's good to have extras because if you only have one, they all go missing. All right, now we got a knife. Yeah, I got a couple things later on this week. So I think the next streaming day is going to be Friday, based on the schedule. So Thursday, I'm not really sure. Like, it's personal stuff, but I don't really know when my schedule is going to get free, so I didn't book anything. And then Friday is a little filled out right now, so I think afternoon again on Friday. Oh my God, I'm locked out. Can I tint a windshield with just yellow, turbo, orange crush, and a tri-edge? I tint a windshield. The yellow turbo, orange crush, and a tri-edge. Yeah, you're pretty much just gonna use like the orange crush for that. It just depends on the windshield. You're gonna want a side swipe for the lower area. Tri-edge might be able to do the job. Just depends. Windshields get a little tight at the bottom, so just sneaking in the right tool. But if you're desperate enough, you can usually make it work. Ah, I have different blades. Get a side swipe. I was experimenting with stainless 30-degree carbon in the thins. How do you like those thin blades, huh? They're my favorite. What's up? So they're on order.
Got the razor blades.
You got the razor blades?
I forgot.
Oh,
But
no, that's okay.
I got everything else. But they messed up, so one guy told me, he's like, yeah, we have to order them. And I went to the front, and the lady's like, hey, we have 3 of them.
Oh.
So, yeah.
Oh, shit. So you actually got them?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. Oh, that's exciting. And here I was all like, oh, man. Oh, I got to do tape on that one side. Okay, so I had Jack go get a couple of carts, and we're going to set those up. So the idea is kind of what I started with the big toolbox over there. It's just too big. So I had him go get a couple of other carts, and we're going to put one on this side. We're going to put one on that side, and it's basically going to have spots for heat guns, sprayer, just to set it, and then everything that I use, I need on hand that I would run back and forth usually. So that's tape, that's blades, back window squeegees. So we're gonna kind of mess around with some things to help with efficiency, because for the longest time, like, I just can't put something in the same place. I always, for the longest time, I always used one cart, and I would put it in the back corner, and I'd always walk around the car and always go to that cart for stuff. So that was kind of what that turned into. But now I'll set stuff on like this table, I'll set stuff over there. I got too many spots to set stuff now, and I just need to like retrain myself to like, this is a cart, it's gonna go back and forth. I'm gonna put one on that side. So we're gonna play around with that. I really like the thin blades. Nice, very nice. Yeah, thin blades are awesome. I'm a fan. Oh, I never even unlocked it. So we taped everything, we forgot to unlock it. Can we put like, look at those. Hell yeah. I know. Sweet. So we got the tray holders. We got the glass cleaner holders essentially. So I got a tray, I got a glass cleaner holder / coffee thing. And then these are the carts that I had them get. So it's one drawer, a top, and a bottom. I wish there was an extra little one here, but I think this will do just fine. I was looking around at a bunch of different options. Colors kind of limits me a little bit too. They have red ones with 3 trays. I'm so tired of the shop red. Nothing I do is pretty much red. So I just want them to look nice. So they look good. So yeah. Should be fun. Off. But for now, we got a carbon job to do. That is going to pay for those. But yeah, I could have gone for some bigger ones. I did that the last time. I just want them to be smaller. I think I went too big on the cart. Too big, too crazy. Which is not even a big toolbox. It's just not very convenient. So on the other toolbox, they have got swivel casters on one side, and they've got straight casters on the other. I need swivel casters so you can just pull it this way. It'd be really easy, like an IKEA shopping cart. Where did you get them? Those are Harbor Freight ones. They're the General Series. Harbor Freight's tough to beat. I mean, you can for sure get much nicer toolboxes. You can spend a lot of money on toolboxes. I go for price to performance on those because I don't need them to be super crazy high-end carts. I just need them to hold all my tinting stuff and look nice. And honestly, be relatively light enough that they're easy to move. So big beefy drawers and stuff, yeah, wouldn't be as helpful. What's the stuff called that you put on the front windshield when you shrink the tint when you're not using dryer sheets? Dry shrink prep. You can Google that one and it'll pop up. Okay, so we are carbon 5. That'd be this box right here. Yeah, they got some stuff that is hard to beat. F250 24-inch roll. That is why I carry them. So yeah, after we set up the carts, I'm gonna basically rethink this wall here. I like having easy access to the film boxes. But I kind of want a bigger glass board here. And I just want it to be streamlined with the rest of the shop. The back of the shop is now making this stuff look messy. I need to clean it up a little bit. There's that. Make sure we're on the carbon 5. Yep, that's exactly what we need. Perfect. Oh wow, that's easy. Yeah, man. As far as tinter names go, many of them are very straightforward. We're not super creative. What is it? The thing. Oh. So these F1, F2, F350s, you can tuck them so far into the sides. This is where the plastic ends, and then you can go, shit, probably about an entire inch before you hit the edge. So since they're looser seals anyways, I always tuck these in farther, especially the way that they're styled. If you look at the insides, you can see like into the seals a fair amount too. So a little wider on these ones. What about my EIO? Do you file for something other than an SS4 for your EIN? To be honest, I have no idea. All I did was I go to LegalZoom, and I'm like, I need an LLC, and then they ask some info, and ba-de-ba. There you go. So if I need something else, I have no idea. I haven't needed anything else up till this point. Let's take this down. How much clearance do we have? Oh, we are like right up on that edge too. Cool. Man, I'm so short on this. Let me go get something that makes me not so short. Make sure you file that. Oh, I have an EIN number, so I just don't know everything that happened to get one. But yeah, EIN number. Yep, that's what you need. That's your tax ID number. Stuff like that, I'm happy to use a service rather than look into everything. It just gets complicated. It gets complicated, but I mean, I could take time and learn it all. But, you know, that's why people take their cars to get tinted rather than learning it all themselves. Some things I will 100% hand off to somebody that knows it better. What did you use to get your LLC? I used a service called LegalZoom. Just Google how to get an LLC. I'm sure there will be tons of options that pop up. Yeah, every state's got different little thingies. I don't think it's very complicated. And becoming a legitimate business is not all it's cracked up to be. The only difference between a legitimate business and a non-legitimate business is probably a piece of paper and some fees. That's about it. So should you have it? Yes. Does it make you feel special? The first day you have it, yeah. Does it make you do anything differently? Not really. But you set that up, then you can go to a bank or just go online like I did. Like, honestly, that's how I set up my personal bank account. I never set foot in a bank. I hate banks. Or your credit union or whatever you want to use. I hate walking into a bank. I just want the thing done. I don't want to be there. Oh, yeah. So, heat gun, this one stays on this side. And then when I go to shrink the other side, I already have a heat gun waiting on the other side. And it's all going to be in a cart. I'm in the Detroit area. State laws, you can darken up the front as much as you want with a doctor's prescription, and you can go as dark as you want on the back without one. Wait, what? I watched your videos thoroughly before attempting my car. I broke 2 door panels, driver's side glass shattered, and cut my arm with a knife. Burned my hand too. Did you record it? That's what we need to see that video. How does that even happen, really? I watched your videos. Shatter. That's amazing. I wonder if I can get a doctor's right off for a tint. You might be able to. It's usually for like legitimate reasons. So skin cancer, migraines. There's a handful of reasons why people need it. So, in the state of Michigan, you can either get a note, or you can then take that note and turn it into a restriction. So you get, it's a little bit more hassle to go through, but you can get it on your driver's license. But then you are required to drive with window tint. If you drive anything without it, then they can give you a ticket, an opposite ticket. It's kind of funny, but it makes sense because you're like, no, I really need this to drive. And they're like, okay, well, there you go. You better drive with it at all times. Why don't you use the plotter? I'll use it for the back glass on this one. It'll save some time there. I don't need to use it for most vehicles. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It's nice to use it. It's just as long as the cuts line up. So for door windows, one reason I charge what I do is just because I always spend longer on a vehicle. So I always plan for a vehicle taking about, without a windshield, taking up to 3 hours. With the windshield, plan on taking up to 4 hours. Now, I can get it done sooner than that but I just like to be extra particular. So stuff like top edges, you're just not going to get the same cut. But you can get really good cuts off of a plotter. It's just not always, you don't, it's what? What's that dumb saying? Box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Plotter cuts are like a box of chocolates. That's taken direct from Forrest Gump. Yeah, you gotta babysit sometimes too. You get better, just like anything. Like, it wouldn't seem like it from just face value. But you get a lot more efficient at just running it and working through the little issues. So what I would typically do is just you click cut, you walk away, you go do something else, you come back, you got some patterns. You can get a good sense of what it's like to work with when you use it all day, every day. You just get way better at running it. Sounds like from day one it shouldn't be a hassle, but with all the little quirks that those machines have, it really is like a box of chocolates. It can get messy if you don't have the right conditions. It's very true. I think he also said that in Forrest Gump. Do we want to slim this down a little more? Probably just a hair. Yeah, that should work. Oh, that's why. I was like, why is this edge so long? Because they didn't round it with anything. We're just going way down. You're gonna have to take it. Yeah, I never watched the movie either. Actually, it's just one of the most famous quotes from any movie ever that people repeat, or it used to be. Probably not as much anymore. There's weirdos like me that repeat it. All right. So on this back door, I inevitably would get a lot of questions. This is just like a ram back window, just not quite as curved. So you're always looking for straight lines. So that's this and that's this. What's funky about it is that this has a gradual curve up here. I've explained this quite a bit with the rams. But if we look at the interior paneling, this swoops up too. But if you get farther in here, the seal here doesn't swoop up quite as far. So glass will come all the way down here. Now I could round this up a fair bit and still tuck my edge. What I did was a little bit nuts. Might round it a little more, probably will forget. But when I roll this window down, it's gonna start to shift a little out of the seal. So there's a little bit of a straight edge from here to here. And by the time this starts to come out of the seal, it's gonna be way down here. So I'm gonna cut basically a straight line right here. I'm gonna shift my film over. I'm gonna cut the rest of my top edge down to what I can get to, and then I'm basically gonna connect the lines to there, and there to there, and everything should line up. Should line up nice and neat. Yes, this one's tall. It's tall from what I usually do. It's very much, this will be, I'll say it's tall, and then there'll be inevitably lots of people that go, that's not tall, that's just a regular truck. It's like when I say limo's dark, and they're like, no, I have double limo. How long did it take you to get to the point where you're comfortable with any type of car? I've been grinding for about a year now, good installs, but a car still takes me 4 hours. So I felt pretty competent about after a year. But I'm trying to remember how long it still took me to tint a car. It was quicker than 4 hours though. But so when I was tinting for other companies, like that's how I learned. So they didn't have 4 hours for me to spend on every car. So I've had to force myself to get faster. See, heat gun this side. I gotta keep shorter cords too, and that'll keep me from running around with a heat gun. So this happened to me probably really unintentionally. Working at other companies forced me to speed up. Sitting here by myself, I naturally take longer. So you gotta set a clock for yourself and force yourself to speed up. Some of the things, like one of the main things that you can do to just speed up right away is double cut. So I didn't cut each one of these doors individually. I cut the front two together, I cut the back two together. That's gonna save you a ton of time right away. And from there, set a stopwatch and just try and keep a pace. Try not to get distracted. Set things up to be very efficient. So the main thing is have all your go-to tools on a belt with you at like all times. See, sometimes this sticks well, and sometimes this doesn't stick well. Have you ever been fired working for other companies? No, you know, there's a lot of companies that, well, okay, no, I wasn't fired. I was told we don't need you anymore. That was with the last company I was with, but that's other reasons, really. That wasn't because Yeah, I was just annoying them. Not intentionally, really. I was just distracted and getting pulled in other directions. So you got fired. Yeah, in a roundabout way, you could say that. Because it was very abrupt, too. Oh, son of a bitch, I did get fired. I'm just realizing it now. Damn. So, and I guess for most people, it was never for like just screwing up. It was never for like, oh, I tinted that poorly. Oh, I put out a bunch of bad jobs and I got fired. No, I was just getting super distracted, trying to pursue video and taking longer on jobs, and then redoing my schedule to where they had less days anyway. So it's like there were definitely reasons for there. I just wasn't in it for that company anymore. But yeah, what I was gonna say is most shops really aren't just gonna fire somebody. They will, most shops work with people until like that person just doesn't show up anymore because they don't really have a lot of choice. It's hard for a shop to find people to just show up. So when you put the time into teaching somebody and they become, you know, halfway competent in doing what they're supposed to do, a lot of people just, you know, with minimal effort can hang on because it's work. It's work and money to bring in somebody else. It's work, effort, and money. And it's not fun. Dirty. Yeah, it's true. I'm glad you went out on your own, or else I wouldn't learn how to tint. God, we're still pulling dirt off of this. This is laminated. This is, like it says in the title, this is a work truck. So interior is not super clean. What I kind of find a little funny is I see people that post pictures of like interior floors and stuff and goes, ugh, I gotta work on this. That's never really bothered me much. You can have pretty disgusting vehicles. It's the windows that matter. You can cover things up. And honestly, you don't even have to cover things up. I should get a couple more. Let me get a couple more tri-edges. Oh no, this one's good. Oh, so I'll keep this. All right, we're good. As long as it doesn't have a stench. Okay, I can agree with that. If it smells really bad, that's a problem. There's always like, I don't know, some smell along with the vehicle. I'm just kind of numb to most of them because it's like, yeah, it smells like a vehicle. I don't know. But you could get some really gross ones. But this, that doesn't bother me. Tape the seals, clean the window. Like glass cleans off really easily and quickly. And what they have on their seats or their floors doesn't impact my job at all. Just makes me feel different. That's all. Oh yeah, so I wouldn't be in window tinting if I didn't just have the right circumstances for it. I wasn't looking to become a tinter. I was going to school for aviation mechanics. My dad had a auto accessories company, and they brought in window tinting. Their window tinter quit over the weekend, and they had a good program built up at that point. Like this guy would do 7-8 cars in a day. It was just a whirlwind of tint all day. He hand cut everything. He was very quick. Put out lots of jobs. Did good work. I would have loved to see his work at this point because I never knew anything about tinting when I saw him tint. But then he went to work for a competitor and got put in charge of their tinting program. But it never grew very well because the company sucks. Scaling window tinting, like this is what you'll see with a lot of companies, a lot of chain companies, is those are some really sketchy places to go get your windows tinted. You'll see a lot of mixed reviews because like doing like Z-Bart, for example, they can do bed liners, they can do mechanical services. Window tinting is very hard to bring in because they're not really making that much money per job. So they always focus on volume and cutting down their expenses. And so they don't pay the guy doing the job a lot. Like they don't pay a lot for all the other services that they do. So they treat it very much like any other service. And then somebody gets a crap job, and then the shop gets a really bad reputation very quickly. Do you only tint? Yeah. I learned a bunch of other stuff early on, but there's no reason for me to do anything else. Well, other than YouTube. But yeah, as far as like actual services, so like I started detailing. It was a high school job. And then, you know, when you're friendly and you talk to guys at the shop, they start to teach you other things. So, you know, when they're like, oh yeah, he's not a complete idiot, we'll start teaching him how to do other things to be helpful. So I'll show him how to like prep a remote starter, show him how to take a door panel apart so he can do auto glass, and then, you know, you slowly start building up your own personal toolbox and kind of go from there. So I've gotten my feet wet with a lot of things. I've changed windshields, I've changed door glass, a lot of bolt-on accessories. You just follow the instructions, take things apart. And then there's enough shop help that if you're running into a situation, somebody else with more experience can kind of help you along a little bit. Then remote starters, because that was always a big thing at the time. Like remote starters accounted for like a huge chunk of business. Not so anymore because they're built into so many vehicles, but this was 2006, 7, 8. And then I started going to aviation mechanic school in 2009. And, oh, what the heck? This is getting away from me a little bit. Let's make sure that doesn't happen. 2009 is when I started going to aviation mechanic school. And so I was still doing accessories. And then that's when the window tinter quit. So that's when I started. I forget that part. I always get... So from like essentially summer of 2009 is when I started tinting, I think. That sounds about right. Because I graduated in 07. I went to aviation mechanic school, I think, starting in 2009. My parents lost their house along the way. Do you like Boeing or Airbus better? It's all metal cans that scare the shit out of me. You go to aviation mechanics school, you don't want to go on an airplane again. They just tell you all the things that can go wrong. And then there's this one teacher that showed us nonstop, so we had a lot of time. Let me turn that back on. So we had a lot of time in class, and sometimes he would show just aviation videos, and then there was this series that was basically like what went wrong. And it started out with horrific plane crashes, and 95% of them were caused by pilot errors. Planes are actually built to be really redundant, so if they have one system fails, there's usually stuff like an airplane can carry itself off of one engine. It doesn't need to. There's a lot of other little things. But I went as far as finishing the school, and then I didn't go any farther. And what was kind of funny was you don't really learn a ton of practical things at the school. You learn concepts. And so like they have like an airplane engine for you to take apart, but it was a 4-cylinder box engine that they had as an example. And then you take apart actually a single like gasoline engine. Basically like a lawnmower engine. You take it apart, you learn about it, you put it back together, and it's like, this is shop class, man. Then you learn about like painting. You spend like 2 weeks literally sanding down plexiglass because they put a big scratch in it. And then they say, well, you wouldn't really be doing that. What they would do is just order a new window for the plane. You wouldn't sand it out. But that's what you could do. And it's like, wait, what? And then you learn like sheet metal, so you learn about rivets. A lot of paperwork. You find out just how much paperwork is involved on airplane repairs. But all in all, you don't really learn a ton of specifics. So like the difference between Boeing and Airbus, I have no idea. They're all just big metal boxes waiting to fall out of the sky. They're all scary. I have 4 clients waiting to get window tint from detailing. Nice, very cool. You'll find that a lot. Crossover services like that, because if they like your work for detailing, then those little add-on things, they're gonna want to have you do the window tinting as well. The hard part about doing crossover stuff like that is like window tinting is its full career skill by itself. So trying to split your attention between a couple different dedicated skills like that, it's a challenge. It's probably worth it to find a guy that's reliable for window tinting. He can do the tinting, you can do the detailing, and you can knock them out at the same time. It's just an interesting way to look at it. So if I was to pull in vinyl or paint protection film, any other automotive service, I'm going to have somebody else do it. It doesn't make sense. It makes sense to have me do only window tinting. Not answer the phones, not do the schedule, nothing else, but literally just tint more because that's what I'm already really good at. Yeah, most schools teach you how to pass a test, not do the job. Yep, it's very true, actually. I'm glad I did it because, like, wasting time is a big deal. So, like, working, even if I wasn't pursuing it, I mean, I guess this is an excuse for college. Working on developing some sort of skill, even if you're not quite sure what to do, can be nice because then you can turn around and turn that skill. Like, if I wasn't window tinting, I'd be in aviation mechanics. And if I didn't like it, I would do it until I find something else. So that's how I looked at getting a job. I didn't just quit because I didn't like it. My first job was working at Quiznos. I hated it from day one. I was there for 2 weeks, and then I found another job that paid better. That was Dairy Queen. I stayed at Dairy Queen for a little while because I was also going to high school. So you have to find like an after-school job. And there weren't a lot of those that I could pick from. So, yeah, I'm glad on some level I did it and I learned about it, but all that money that I put towards it just went to waste. Technically. I got a good Snap-on set. So they had this agreement with Snap-on, and they would rope your tools into your tuition. So about like halfway through the school, you get Snap-on day, and you get like full Snap-on tool outfits. That was pretty cool. You know, if you're gonna spend money at school, you might as well get a nice tool set. That probably could have saved $5 grand on tuition though. I used to wrap cars, typically wrap every 48 hours, but I never touch windows. I'm learning from you so I can do my own stuff better. Nice, very nice. Hello, Tint Studio, how can I help you? Sure thing. No, unfortunately, we just tint windows. All right, have a good one. I don't get those questions very often. Taillights. See, that's another thing. If I was to do taillights, I would also start wrapping stuff. Rather than do more skills, I double down on what I do well, because there's usually, like, rather than splitting my attention, there's usually missed opportunity in what I'm doing. Whether that be pulling another job, charge more for the jobs that I'm doing, take a different angle on it, like YouTube. Like, there's always some missed opportunity there. So I think it's really smart to just go really hard into what you do well. So for detailing, I mean, it would make more sense to do door windows. And where you're gonna have a real hard time is doing like full cars. It's just a lot. It takes time to do. I mean, I'm not trying to discourage people to get into window tint. It's just another perspective to look at it. Some people think, like, I used to think this way, learn more skills, make more money. You learn more skills, you just spend more time doing an assortment of things, and then you make the same amount of money. So figure out what you like to do it really well, and just go super hard at it. Then all those other services that you feel like you're missing out on, sometimes they only account for like a small percentage of your business. So you always hear those 80-20 rules where you make 80% of your money doing this one thing and then 20% of your money doing 500 other things. Figure out what you make the most money at doing and see how you can expand that before focusing all your attention on 20% of what you really make. But I have 2 part-time employees, full-time car detailing and training, so once I get that done, I can focus on tint. Nice. See, that's how you do it. If you want to expand and you want to be the guy that do it, figure out how to replace yourself at doing what you do really well, and then get into something else, just like that. It's a good way to do it. But yeah, so I learned how to do paint protection film. We had like a film rep come out, stay with us for a few days, helped us get a couple cars done. Learned a lot from that, and then we started pulling in jobs. I would take care of them, but the company was not very good at pulling in paint protection film work. We didn't get a lot of questions about it, and therefore they didn't it wasn't really a natural service that kind of made sense for the business. It just, we heard it made money, and hey, it's another film, so then we brought it in. Later on, I saw how well paint protection film fits in with detailing and paint corrections. That's kind of a natural evolution. If you're gonna get your whole car paint corrected, then you could add film on top of it, and then it's all prepped, ready to go. Or ceramic coating, right? It's all prepped, ready to go. With window tinting, you're not doing anything to the paint. So then it's kind of like an extra outside of service, and it costs a lot more too, so it just wasn't like a natural thing that people were looking for. It's like, if anything, people look for other things or window tint. They're not necessarily looking for film services as a whole. Or if they are, they're coming in for like paint correction, and if they got a lot of money, paint correction, paint protection film, and oh yeah, by the way, tint the windows too. So it's kind of like an add-on service for some businesses. But I would spend a lot of time doing paint protection film, and the window tint work would sit there, and then I have to stop doing paint protection film, go over, do window tinting, hop back and forth, do both, and then at the end of the day, it's like we would see how much money we would be losing not tinting, and then at the same time how much money we would get with paint protection film, and at the end of the day, it's like, oh, this really isn't much different. I'm sorry you called it a bad minute. Hello, Tint Studio, how can I help you?
Hi, I'm wondering on a price for tinting on a 2022 F350.
22 F350?
Driver, yeah, that's front two, driver and passenger.
Sure thing, just the front two start at 120.
Okay, what's your guys' schedule look like?
I could get you in, that one I could get in on Saturday.
Okay, what about next week?
Next week I can do a good chunk of the week. Let me, what day works best for you next week?
Probably like Monday.
Monday? Monday should work. Let me just, yeah, I'm installing a window right now. 1 second.
No problem. Actually, how long will it take on Saturday?
Not very long. Front doors are pretty quick. They're usually inside of an hour.
Inside of an hour? What time could you do it?
I could get in as early as 10 o'clock on Saturday.
Yeah, I got plans at like noon, so.
Oh, okay. I got you. Yeah, I could do Monday, no problem. I could get you in as early as the same time. Monday the 18th, I could get you in at 10 o'clock.
And what's like your latest?
The latest is going to be 3 o'clock.
3?
Mm-hmm.
Let's do 3 o'clock then, just so I can work through the day, and I'll be there at 3.
Okay, no problem. So we confirm everything through deposits through my site. So what I'll do is I'll text you a link to the booking page and just set it for 3 o'clock on the 18th, and you'll be all set.
All right, cool, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. We'll get that right over.
All right, bye.
Bye. Yep, that's fine. There we go. I had to take my headphone out. A big one-stop shop is the goal. Yeah, those can do really well. It's a cool thing. There we go. See, leaving, oh yeah, I should back up a couple seconds here. So I left this sitting here for a little bit. This is a perfect place to leave a window if you gotta go run and do something else for a minute. Because all it's doing is tacking up to the top. This is gonna start to dry, but it's still within within a couple minutes, you're fine. You can walk away and you can come back and finish up the window. If you leave it for 10, 15 minutes, then that's gonna get real sketchy, especially if the glass is hot. Right now, the glass is nice and cool, so I got plenty of time to let it set up, and I can walk away for a second and do that. So on this back door, what did I say? I probably forget about rounding it a little bit more. That's pretty far to tuck in a corner like that, but it still works. There we go. Ba-ba-da-ba. But yeah, window film's a really good one. I've always admired the shops that do well at just the film businesses. So, like, literally paint protection film, vinyl, and window tinting. I think that more caters to a high-end market. And then what's interesting is detailing can kind of do the same thing. So with detailing, people are cleaning up their cars, and when you're charging more, you're getting people that will want to do other services alongside of detailing, right? So they get paint corrections, then they get ceramic coatings, then they might get window tint, might get paint protection film. There's quite a few things that fit in there. So for me, adding on taillights, can you stream the, oh, I'll answer that in a minute. For me, getting a couple inquiries here or there about taillights, it's business that I'm turning away. If I wanted to learn how to use like Lux pretty efficiently, I could do it, but I feel like if I'm going to do that, I might as well just start doing more vinyl work. Because you're working on such a small, intricate part on a lot of taillights, you might as well then do like full hoods would be no problem. Full hoods, roofs, you could do a lot. But I don't want to be that guy. And I only get a handful of inquiries about taillights. So what I'm looking into right now is just an add-on for what I do already. So I'm very happy just doing the tint work that I'm doing right now. So as that picks up more and more, start pulling in more clients for that, and probably do hydrophobic coatings because the glass is already cleaned. Then we'll just go from there. All right, let's put another piece on here. I gotta get another roll of that. That's what I forgot to order. I should have ordered some more rolls. The thing about wrapping is you really need two people to do it effectively. Interesting. I like the cross sales / services. Upsold a boat on doing tint too. Boats was an interesting thing. I was thinking I'd get into boats more last year. But I ran into a pain in the ass boat. I don't want to touch most boats. There's a handful of companies that make really straightforward windshields, and then there's the other gasket style ones. I don't want to touch them. I thought it might be fun. It's not. I didn't have any fun. It's just stressful. And then I got a question the other day on actually yesterday about windshield films. Could you do a protective film on a windshield? And I've seen what's out there, and honestly, seems like Dynaflex is probably one of the best options out there. Seems like the most user friendly because it's literally paint protection film for a windshield. But it still shows abuse after like 3 months, 4 months. I just don't think that's quite worth the cost. Not unless you're in the real high-end market. So if you're covering things like a Ferrari windshield, then sure. The cost of that windshield is like whatever. You really need to protect it. But I don't get those. So I'm going to be trying to sell it to people that have like an F250, where you can replace a windshield for a couple $100 probably. It don't matter as much. But I can always keep my plate full with window tinting, so like anything else that I'm trying to add, I'm not trying to look into a full-on another service. I'm trying to do more window tinting, if anything. And then what I do in the background is the little stuff, like the YouTube channel and the online store. So there's other things that are happening. It's just not all service. Oh yeah, the Model Y. So that got done this morning. That was just the full windshield. I typically don't stream just one window like that, unless I'm really scraping by for something to do online. So he came in and he was like, "Yeah, I gotta be somewhere by 11:30. I hope that's not a problem." So he had a 10 o'clock appointment. Had him out by 11. Nothing funny? I heard a sound. No, it looks like everything's good. What is that? You hear that? Oh, that's this. That's this hitting that. Oh, okay. It's not the top edge. I know I would have seen something if it was the top. But I thought I heard film. Hitting something. All right, the deep dive into this corner. Spray that, hold the seal back, and just squeak that in. There it goes. I do a lot of tucking with the back of my fingers, so like here, I'll like, oh, we don't want to do that. Hold the seal back and like do one of these guys. Here we go. So we're gonna bring up the back window then on the plotter, and then I'll make this nice and tidy. Notice on the front door, you start at the high part. Oh. I don't know if I have a good reason for you why. It just made the most sense from looking at it. I don't know. It's a F250, so these are the only door windows that are really going to do this curve. These have really easy to tuck seals too. Like these window seals are like an inch down, and they give you quite a bit of room here and on the sides. So any way you do them, it's going to be pretty straightforward. When you talk to a customer, do you have a GoPro on your head? Yes. I let them know that I'm streaming. I'm streaming right now. You're on camera. Look, you're on camera. No. No, I feel like enough of a crazy person. Oh, is there literally water? Yeah, there is. How about that? Alrighty. So this back window, this is a slider. Power slider. I like these so much better than the Rams. They just give you space. The Rams put a bracket right up here that basically touches the edge of the window. F250 is just way more straightforward. That being said, neither of them are all that crazy. Go back to the old F250s, and then I'll have a bad day. If this was like a 2001 F250, yikes. No, thank you.
DC Customs and Detailing super chatted $5. I'm going to do a 2021 Dodge Challenger this Saturday. The customer might want the windshield done also, but I'm a little concerned about the BCM module.
So it should be right there, right? Okay, cool. Thank you. DC Customs. Canon. It's not even open. It's not even open. What am I doing with my stream? Ugh. Wow, it is really pressing right there. Oh my god. Oh, you know what it is? It's because I have the battery on the back right now. That's why it's a little tighter. New version available. No, not now. I hate updating anything. Anytime you update something, that's when everything breaks. DC! Thank you. I don't know why it didn't work. Probably because I didn't open the software. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. I'm going to do a 21 Challenger this Saturday. Customer might want to do the windshield. Also a little concerned about the BCM. Put a towel over the dash and tuck a rope into it, and just make sure that up to the side edges are as covered as you can. I knew the older Challengers, the BCMs were in the passenger kick, but they're up higher in the paneling. So you have to like take some stuff apart to like protect them. I would just tint it and just keep it well covered. But it is a vehicle to be concerned about whenever you're in that range. So you're not crazy for that. So I tend to just take that challenge because, you know, I don't like to turn away windshield work. And then if you have a problem, then never do them again. Ford, we're going to do F. I don't know the year range. Really? Hang on now. Super Duty. Is that what they call these? They call them a Super Duty? Super Duty Crew? It's an F250, but like, where is it? It's got to have the same backlash. I can't imagine that the backlash is any different. Bronco, Edge, F150. Usually you would see F150 and then F250. But then you get into Super Duty, Transit, Super Duty, F650. It's got to be a Super Duty. It's a Super Duty. This is a 24. Are we going to do a 24 on this? Does that even make sense? Yeah, probably does. I can only cut out probably one of these at a time, too. Yep. Can we... I don't think there's any way that I can... 24 is probably like the least economical way to cut these out. I just don't want to do a 40. I don't have a table set up to cut out a 40. I don't think I feel like doing it. I'm just going to do this. I'll do them one at a time. Screw it. Who cares? Who cares? I just did a Challenger. Water got into the BCM. Did you cover everything? So, like, some people throw towels over the dash, or they only do a soak rope. We're a little bit more thorough at this point. So we do... Whoa. This one. So we do a good towel over the dash. We get it tucked in, and then I will add a rope all the way up to the corners. That's really thorough. If water's still getting through after that, then I don't know. It could be going down like the pillars but pretty much every situation, that should be fine. I don't get it. Why does this bug people? Why does little tint pieces all over a window here bug anybody? Clean it! Well, it did everywhere, and then it split right at the bottom. Let's peel that. There we go. Oh, so the microfiber over the BCM, that was on a RAM. That was on the latest model RAM. So this is why I tell people, pay attention to the Facebook group and keep your ear to the ground on that stuff. Because there are a lot of people that get certain vehicles well before I do. And that car was just, everybody was freaked out. It was just left and right. People were having problems with those RAMs. Where with the Challenger, I don't hear people having, you know, there's the occasional Challenger where somebody has a problem with it. And it's generally, you know, it's like, oh, it's freaking out. What could have happened? I tinted the windshield. It's like, well, you got water somewhere. It shouldn't have gone. It's pretty cut and dry. It sucks, but that's what happened. Oh no, are these the shitty? Oh, okay, cool. They made really bad ones. So there's one headrest range that goes up to the top. It doesn't bend forward, and it's just a bitch to try and pull out. So I don't know. There's no real reason to panic. I think this is still wet from earlier today. Actually, no, it's pretty good. Ooh, and this will brighten this area up too a little bit. Boo-doo-doo, boo-doo-doo. All right, I'm gonna shut that one off. But there's always enough hearsay. It's like sunroofs. I haven't ever seen a sunroof blow up, but I've heard some people say that they've seen it, and there's a lot of hearsay on it. So with windshields, there's a lot of people that get overly freaked out about it, from a handful of people having situations which you never got to see how much water they sprayed. You never got to see how they did the windshield or how they covered it up. You're just like, oh, I covered it and I had this horrible problem. So if you're putting a soak shield, you do the towel, then do the soak shield, and it's worth it at that to keep doing it. If you have the one-off problem, take care of it. Unknown. Okay, well, actually, we probably should. Hello, Tint Studio. How can I help you? Wrong number. Okay. Well, I guess that was pointless. All right, what is that? Oh, that's on the outside. That's nothing for me to worry about then. So, the thing is, if you don't do windshields, how much business are you turning away and how much risk are you taking on? Even if you have one or two windshields a year where you're paying a couple $1,000s each to fix, I do a ceramic windshield, it's $250. I do a windshield with like over half the jobs that I have. I'd be turning away a lot of money if I wasn't taking out windshields. And the more you do them, the more comfortable that you get. So that's like assuming that you would have any problems at all. Just play it safe, keep it covered. It's well worth learning. Where like there's old stuff that I'm sorry, it's not even worth the time for me to do it. Because it's going to take me forever. And I'm hardly going to have somebody come back with another vehicle like that. Like a classic car. It just doesn't make near as much sense as doing like a Tesla. So, I don't know. I pick and choose. And that one, I just, if I didn't do windshields, like, I'm not installing ceramic anymore. It's a huge part. Okay, so I'm gonna do the other one. So, oh my god, no, unselect. So get rid of that one. And we'll cut out this one. That was the class in Oklahoma in 2015. Damn, I should raise my prices. I still see people, like, I don't know. I know there's people I could raise that price on, but I still get enough variance that I'm like, I think $250 is still pretty fair. I would love to charge more than that, though. I'm still pretty realistic about what I install. I never know exactly how high I can push it, though. What window film would you recommend for a starter? Check out Sun Distributing's Orbit. Or Tint Depot has some good starter films. But what's interesting is just how pricing has changed. So like, even some of those, like the 5-year film, it doesn't make much sense anymore. It's basically, it's like a couple dollars shy of Sun Distributing's Orbit, which is a solid film that I would trust on people's cars. So you might as well just go with something like that. Tint Depot's out of a lot of the cheap stuff too. Interesting. I'll have to talk to them about that. Because I like there to be one solid recommendation for like really inexpensive film. And then from there, you're just going right up into color stable. There's no reason to piddle around in the middle. Piddle in the middle. It's so dumb. Heat gun, one on each side, then I'm not wandering around. Easy peasy. I ordered the C2 from what you used, best deal that was in stock. Yeah, it's a good bang for your buck for sure. What size roll is good for hand cutting? If it's a truck like this, so F250s, they just have F150s, F250s, they all have these really tall S-curve windows. Those you need a 24-inch roll to do. If you're doing cars, most of the time you're fine with a 36-inch roll and you just split it in half. Then you can do one long roll on the back window, then take that same long roll, split it in half for the doors. If you want to make the film handling part a little bit easier on yourself, get 20-inch rolls, and then it's just easier to unroll film right onto the car. But I typically what I just order is 24s and 36s. But if you needed to only pick one roll size, you need a longer roll size to do back windows. But if you're only going to practice on doors, then it's up to what you're practicing on. I just ordered 36 by 100 feet. Yep, that's great. My Silverado needs a 24 for the doors. Yes. So okay, on the new GM trucks too. So anything that's like 2020 and up, might be 19 and up. They need a little bit taller than a 20-inch roll. Rams are still on a 20 though. How much is the cutting machine? That one is, I think, just under 2,000 for that one. That's a workhorse too. Personally ordered. Or should I go straight with GeoShield because I've been watching your videos out here in Vegas. A lot of people use ASWF. Ooh, okay. If there's one film that I will tell everybody to stay away from, ASWF drove me crazy. Our biggest film failure was with ASWF. And then I think my dad's shop picked them up. They can't be all bad, but man, they let us down super hard. I just can never recommend them. So really, like, GeoShield, Helios, Helios is a good film line. Tint Depot has some good lines too. Like if you go Superior Charcoal, like Superior Charcoal, Helios Orbit, Pro Classic, those are essentially like those are all incredibly similar films. So I think you can save the most amount of money on that type of film through Sun Distributing. I don't mind, obviously, with Geo. Like, I like keeping everything under more of, like, you know, if I'm gonna... I like finding a company that I can carry multiple films through. So I don't pick and choose, like, my ceramic from this company, my carbon from this other company. Not unless I absolutely had to. The only reason I do it that way is like it's simpler for purchasing, and with some other companies you also have like minimums and whatnot. So just like any service, like the more you order through one company, like the more you develop a relationship with that company, the more buying power that you have through that company, little things like that. Like it makes sense. Like if I was only to carry Lumar ceramic, I need to order a certain amount every month, or just, you know, they wouldn't even entertain it. It just doesn't make as much sense. But that being said, I could always pull in an extra line of film. I just don't have a reason to. Here we go. There's two. Let's go waste some more film. Thinking of buying from GeoShield, but prices are too high? Well, it just depends on what you're selling jobs for. Oh no, hang on. Somebody's calling. Oh, come on. Go for it. Hello, Tint Studio, how can I help you? Yeah, for sure. What kind of vehicle? Oh, cool. Okay. Oh, cool. What's the name? I'll look it up. Oh, there it is. Yep, I got it. 22 Sierra. Full car, no windshield. Yep, that's all good still. Uh-huh. Not so. I actually have 15%, but it's only in my carbon line. They don't offer it in my ceramic line, unfortunately. So we could do that if you wanted to stay a little bit darker. 20 is typically like 20. When you put 20 on the glass, it's going to meter a little bit darker than 20, anyways. But I understand there's some people they've seen 20, they've used it, they just want something a little bit darker. I don't layer the films, and I don't have anything in the ceramic that would accommodate for that, though. But like I said, I did have it in my carbon. Mm-hmm. Uh-huh. Yes. Yeah, for sure. So when you're looking at the vehicle overall, the windshield lets in a ton of light, so it's something that a lot of people miss. If you darken up the windshield some, it'll definitely darken up the rest of the cabin. For right. Uh-huh. That's going to be the biggest thing. There's like slight little tone differences, but if you were to put one up against the next one, I wouldn't be able to tell you which one is ceramic and which one is carbon without literally feeling a difference. So you're going to be happy with any of the films that I put on. It just, especially when you're doing a windshield, having that extra heat rejection this time of year is really nice, but in the wintertime, you're not going to notice a difference. Oh shoot, yeah, it would matter a lot for down in Texas. Mm-hmm. Correct. Yep. Uh huh. Yeah. So what you have on the rear, you already have privacy glass on the rear, I'm assuming. So it's already going to be about anywhere from a 20 to 15% already. So putting any film over that, it's either going to have to be extremely light ceramic that's just going to darken it up a tinge, or like, yeah. So if I do the carbon, I can mess around with a couple films, see how I can get it to look the close if you want it to be that symmetrical. Um, it is a possibility. It's just more. You'd probably be looking at like a 70% in the ceramic, maybe the 50, but it'll be close. Okay. With the ceramic. Uh huh. Okay, so you'd want carbon on the front too. Okay. And then as for the back, would you want to keep that in, like, you could mix it up a couple of different ways then, like, because if you, you then could choose either carbon for everything but the windshield and then ceramic on the windshield, or you could do, you know, it wouldn't really save you much as far as cost goes. There'd be like a little bit cheaper, but you could do carbon on the front in the 15, and then you could do ceramic on the rear, and then ceramic on the windshield and keep it that way. So that is something to think about, but you wouldn't have to make a decision ahead of time. However you want to do it is totally fine. But yeah, we could split it up either way. Mm-hmm. Right. Oh, okay, so just the front two windows and the windshield? So in carbon, it's getting a little messy. So we could do ceramic for 200 on the windshield, and then we could do in carbon it would be 160 for the front two. So you would be at 160 plus 200. So you'd be at 360 for that. 60. Yep. Yep. Yeah, I actually have one this Saturday that would work out really well if that works for you. Mm-hmm. Saturday the 16th. It's surprisingly open right now. If not, I could schedule you into next week. It's totally up to you. So if it's the front two, a couple hours for like the front two with the full windshield, that would take a couple hours. If it's going to be the full vehicle, usually 3.5 to 4 hours is good to plan for. Yeah, no problem. If you can catch a ride, drop it off for the full thing with the windshield. That's usually recommended. But I do have a waiting area, and you can chill out here. I know it's a long job though, so. Okay. All right. We'll plan on 10 o'clock on Saturday then. Uh huh. Yeah. Y- Gotcha. So if it looks really complicated, so I've got that same mirror in my Blazer, where they've got the backup camera in the mirror itself too, and it's a pretty easy disconnect to take it out. I've taken mine out a bunch of times, but if it looks overly complicated, I just leave everything as is, because now they're putting like collision avoidance systems and a whole bunch of other stuff up there too. That stuff always would have to be recalibrated, and so I just wouldn't even touch it if I see a camera up there. So as far as the screen goes, if it's just that, then sometimes I do. But yeah, I wouldn't do anything that would cause it to have to be recalibrated or whatnot. I can just tin around it. No, unfortunately, I don't have any discounts for that. I always say that it's just the sheer amount of time that I put into every vehicle that I got to charge what I got to charge for that. So yeah, unfortunately, I don't. Oops. Yeah, sure thing. Okay, so we'll most likely plan on the full thing getting done then? Awesome. Alrighty. Well, I will mark it on the calendar. So I confirm everything through deposits. So I'll text you a link over to the booking page. The deposit goes right towards the balance of the job, so it's no surprise additional charge. It just ensures somebody is holding the time. So I will text that to the number that you called on, and as soon as I get that, you'll be all set for Saturday the 16th at 10 a.m. All right, no problem. I'll get that right over. All right, bye. Cool. Was that really that one? Oh, yeah, that was definitely that one. Thanks for scheduling your... This is a 22... 22 Sierra. For this Saturday at 10 a.m. And then deposit. There we go. Cool. That was longer than I thought it was going to be. He found me on TikTok. Can you believe that? Can you tint my spaceship? I want ceramic to reduce the heat, but I only want to spend $119. He asked at the end. He was just wondering if he had any like GM discounts or stuff, because there's plants around here. I usually don't have people ask that many questions about it, but it was all completely fine and like nothing that was like, I don't know. Sometimes you get lots of questions and there's concern. I don't know. But yeah, it was cool. So he filled out a Tint Wiz quote form back a handful of months ago, and then yeah, quote's still good. So so he's looking to do 15, and so 15 is less expensive. So the questions then become, it's like, okay, he didn't really want to do it this way, but I don't have 15 in my ceramic. So like, what else are you gonna do? Then like, he wants the 15% on the front too. Then he wants the back to match as close to that as possible, which the rear might already be. The rear might already be 15, because I've metered some of them. Some new Explorers have been 15. Some Sierras, like those, have been 15. So he wants to do the full thing with the windshield. He just wants it the front or the back to match the front as close as he can, and then a darker shade on the windshield. Really nice guy. But yeah, it was. He said he saw my TikTok first, and then that's how he got introduced to what I do. I got a job being a dealer locator. I got a job from being a dealer locator from a guy in Taylor, Michigan. He wants flex film super ceramic. I'm the closest. You're the closest to Taylor? Really? I used to tint out there. That's funny. Nobody in all of Michigan uses that anymore. What car do you drive? I drive a beat up 2010 Nissan Altima at the moment. The class car. It sucks. It's fine. It's a car. No, so we're going through the process of getting a house. I haven't really told this, but so we ended up getting our Sienna van back in November, and then we started looking around for houses after that. And as we're going through that whole process, they're like, hey, the Sienna van is kind of a problem. So if you get rid of it, everything's still good with the house. So we have to, we're kind of in limbo right now. I can't lease anything until we close. I can't lease or buy anything until we close because that puts it on your credit, your debt to income ratio. And we are like floating that line. So we had to get rid of our beloved Sienna, which made us really, really sad. So right now I have the class Tint car until we finish things up with the house. And then, I don't know. We'll either be in another waiting line for Sienna van or we'll get something else. We really like the van. The van was just, like, the van is expensive. It's like, at the time, $850 a month for that thing. And I'm sure they have not dropped in price yet. How did you get rid of it? So we got super lucky. We sold it through Carvana, and we sold it for basically break even, if not a little more. So we got a maintenance package on it. Like, this was going to be the long-term family van. And we would have been upside down on it and lost a fair amount of money trying to sell it if the market wasn't where it was at right now. So we went there. They make it really easy to sell a vehicle. You fill out some info, they give you a quote, or they literally give you the price that they're gonna buy it at. They pay off your lien, and then they give you the remainder on it. So we were actually really, really close. I think it was just, we probably ended up paying over MSRP a little bit to get it. I'm actually not entirely sure. Because I didn't know what MSRP was on it. I just knew about how much that thing was going to cost a month going into it. And then we added like a maintenance package on it. Then we got a check in the mail later on from Toyota with the maintenance package, like a refund from there. But yeah, we got super lucky on it. We were just really sad because we really liked it. Get a Tesla. No, I actually have zero interest in getting a Tesla. Although, for what I do, it probably makes a lot of... Oh, God, I should get a Model 3. It makes a lot of sense for what I do. Damn it. You're right. I should do a Tesla. It would just take a long time to get it. That, too. So we really like, believe it or not, the minivan was awesome. It has way more space than any SUV. It's got like low storage in it. Trips to Costco, anywhere, man, you got space for everything in that van. We took a family trip in it. It was awesome. How long did it take when you got to get the payment? Within a week, I think. So it was a very smooth experience. So here's the caveat: if you're gonna sell a vehicle, go through them right now. If you're buying a vehicle, I would use somebody else. I'd go to a dealership or something. So the funny thing was, like, Carvana's like this. They recently laid off a bunch of employees. Carvana's like this weird auto dealer They seem like a combo. They seem like they're trying to be a car dealership, but they're also trying to be a tech company and just be very convenient to buy and sell vehicles. But they're just... I've heard some really bad things about getting titles from them, so you can buy a vehicle and be sitting in limbo with no title. They're supposed to go bankrupt. It makes sense because they're literally like overpaying over all the dealerships right now. They're just trying to get whatever business that they can. So that's one reason we got so lucky is we went to a Toyota dealer, we talked to them, and we told him the quote that we got, and he's like, "Oh, I can't touch that. There's no way. I'd be like $5,000 under what they quoted you." And I was like, "Oh, okay. That's fine." Like, they bought it from us for like 50 something. So I think they're just going super, the impression I get is that they're going super hard. I think they're going super hard just trying to acquire people. So they're overpaying on vehicles thinking that you're also going to buy from them. But people just sell to whoever gives them the best deal. It doesn't create loyalty, I don't think. Not with the bad stuff I've heard about trying to buy vehicles from them. But I was really happy they made it super easy. Somebody literally came and picked it up out of our driveway. We set up an appointment, showed up, took a couple pictures, had to sign a couple forms, drove it away. And then we got a notice saying that they paid off the lien. We checked with Toyota. Yeah, everything got paid off. And we got we got a direct deposit within like 3 or 4 days or something. It was actually pretty quick. So I'm just like annoyed because I'm sitting here in limbo. I can't do anything on a new car. Canon. I can't do anything on a new car. I'm sad. But I don't really mind whatever my daily driver is so much for like getting here. I miss having a nice vehicle to show people. I sold my truck to a dealership 3 weeks ago. They paid off the loan. Yep. Isn't that crazy? Vehicle pricing is just insane. So if you're in a power position to sell stuff, but buying stuff, you got to be patient for it. Think outside of the box. Put wheels on your house instead. Isn't that called like a motor home? I think people thought of that already. My house is staying put, thank you. But yeah, that happened a little while ago. So like for most of the summertime, it's been really annoying. Do you do any PC gaming? Not anymore. I don't have time for it. I used to. Did you put an offer on a house yet? Yeah, we're actually closing. Yeah, we're getting a house. It's gonna be we're gonna be closing on the 20th. We're excited. It's gonna be my first house that we actually bought. I've always rented, throwing away money. They said they need to get the pink slip before they make the check. What? How far do you live? Not very far. I'm like, that was part of the thing with this place. I'm about 10 minutes away. Will you be able to tint out your home garage? I mean, there's space to, but I don't know. It's with this being close enough, like the occasional job, like I'm not going to send customers over there. No, nothing's probably going to happen. Like if Nick wants something tinted, he can swing over to the house and I can do it at home. Basically, is what I'm saying. Nick in the chat. But this place is set up more for it, so it's probably just going to be a home garage. That dream is it's not for a long time. For free. How big is the garage? It's 24 by 20. So it's a full-size garage. We got a little extension on it, but it's not huge. It's good enough, though. So if you only have one car in there, park it in the center, and then you got plenty of space around it. It's realistically probably... No, this pad's probably 25 by 25, I think. Well, we got that done reasonably quick, huh? Have pool for your dream? No, no pool. Maybe eventually. I don't know if we can do a pool. That's something I should find out. What's your thoughts on Lumar? Seems like most people swear by it for life. It's good and bad. I think if you're with Lumar, then you're doing great. But you need to embrace Lumar. So their films are more expensive. So you should be charging more to tint cars. Some people carry Lumar, and then they're like super competitive on their pricing, and that doesn't make any sense. But I hear nothing but good things about how Lumar takes care of their clients. If there's any type of a problem, they will literally write you a check or film credit, I think. I actually don't know if it's a check or probably film credit, but they credit you for the removal and the cost of the job. So if anything fails long term, you are totally covered through them. I hear really good things about them for that. I respect that a lot. Could you advise on soap marks and watermarks? What do you mean? Like on the paint? I just tell people they can wash their vehicles if they want. I have to spray the vehicles. I'm really cautious about, like, I don't want to then... I'm not a detail shop, and there's people that are really touchy about their paint too, so I just don't touch the paint. And then I tint the windows, and they can wash it right after. It's never been a problem for me here. At most, there's been one guy ask about it before it happened, and I said, if you want, I can just spray it off. I just don't touch your paint. After the tint? Oh, okay, got you. Yeah, the most I would do is I would just spray it off, and then, I don't want to touch the paint. I just don't want to be accused for swirls or anything, even if I did everything. And, there'll be like a gradual layer of dirt that gets on the vehicle, and then if somebody accuses you for, like, swirling their paint or something like that, I don't want to be... I don't think the vast majority of people wouldn't, but whenever you're cleaning something up, you then see all the flaws. So when you hand your vehicle over to somebody, they touch it and then get the vehicle back, then, like, ugh. I don't want them to start pointing out stuff. Behind the film? How do you have soap marks? Watermarks under the tint job. Oh. Well, why'd you make me go into a tangent about paint then? Dang. Soap marks and watermarks. So I don't know what you mean by soap marks, but as far as, like, you'll have water streaks and stuff after a tint job, but it's gonna dry. So some people kind of freak out. Like, I saw this with a few people that came here for the class. They were like, when you look close at the windows, and you get the light reflecting off of it in certain ways, you'll notice water pockets, you'll notice some streaks. It'll be easy to see through. At this point, you don't see any haze, but you'll notice moisture in between the film and the glass. That's gonna dry. And so, like, watermarks or streaks, like, it's all gonna dry out fine. If something's left behind, it's either dirt or air. But after, a day or two, it should all look even. If it doesn't, like, then again, it was either it was either air or dirt. It's not soap streaks though. He's asking about water under his turn. Is that black and green floor for the dust? It's more because I like it. It helps with some of that a little bit. So I don't have any drains here, so I do get to stand above the water, so that's nice. But it was mostly because the floor looks nice. Alrighty. We got a couple of super chats. I think the next live stream is going to be Saturday. Congratulations on house ownership. Thank you. It was one of those things where I haven't really talked about much because I kept feeling like they were going to pull the rug out from us at any time, but everything looks good for closing. So we're super stoked. We're really, really happy. It's been a long time coming. It's one of those things that you didn't like, or one of those things that I really didn't think was going to happen, especially because I own a business that hasn't been around for very long, and then things just kept going along. So it's cool. Thank you. Next car, Lamborghini Urus in the Tint studio. Yes, instead of a minivan, I will buy a Lambo. It's the most expensive vehicle. My list of very expensive vehicles is actually, pretty short. The ones that come to mind though was it was a McLaren 3 something, and then back to back with a Aston DBS. That was a cool day. Oh look, he just booked for Saturday. Sweet. That's always nice. Is an Audi R8 easy? No, Audi R8 sucks. I actually tinted one of those, only one. They have really curved door windows. That gave us a heck of a time. And it was a convertible too. So like the top was weird. The back glass was like just a real slim one, if I'm remembering this right. It was like a slim glass back window, and when you put the top down, the glass rolls down but doesn't go all the way back up. It was really funky to do. I didn't have a good time on that one. What app do you use to do appointments? So I use Wix for my website right now, and they have a little booking thing. And so it's a little rough the way that it's set up, but so it'll show a lot of availabilities on time. That's just so I can be flexible on when I can schedule an appointment for. I've used it long enough at this point to kind of know what things people should book, so it automatically fills out like a good amount of time. But, you know, somebody will ask for front doors, and then front doors with a windshield, and then a full car. So I wanted the deposit to be dead simple. So you go to the booking page, you click on deposit, you set it for the time and the date that we talked about. And the little part that I fixed recently was now they type in their name, they type in their email and a phone number, just so I have some contact info. And then they also type in the car that's getting tinted and what we're tinting on that car. So they fill out the calendar, they fill out the schedule for me. It's actually really nice. So when I take a phone call, we talk, like you guys heard earlier, it's real straightforward. We figure out what we're gonna do, how much we're gonna charge, and when we're gonna tint the vehicle. And at that point, I hang up, I text them a link to the booking page, and you know, this is where you leave the deposit, set it for this time, this day, and then if I don't get a deposit, they don't have an appointment. But if I get a deposit, then boom, they're on my calendar with all that info already filled out. and I can keep working on what I'm working on, and I don't have to follow up with people. It just makes everything very simple. So on this one, Saturday, boom, it's on my calendar now. I'm not going to show you just because people's names and stuff. But it says GMC Sierra 2022 AT4. I don't know what an AT4 is, but that must be the trim level. Windows to be tinted. Windshield, 50% ceramic. All other windows, 15% carbon. That's a little goofy because I think we're doing the whole thing, but we weren't doing 15 carbon. I don't know. Whatever. We'll talk about that. The point is, at a click of a button, I can at least know exactly what we're doing on the car, like as far as like what windows or what type of job it is. So yeah, really, really easy, really efficient. I don't have to go back and forth to like a book and accidentally leave it somewhere. The main thing is like trying to get a name and a number over the phone when like somebody's phone is breaking up, somebody mispronounces a letter, or, you know, something else, like you guys are talking in my head. Like stuff like that is going on. I just want to answer a phone call. Hey, I'm going to send you a link. So I type out a short message, send it to them, and then the rest is up to them to iron out real quick. To use Next Insurance? No, I don't know who they are. Oh, that's why he's the Audi guy. I see. I was asking about an Audi Q5. Q5? That's the SUV, isn't it? I hear the new Q series. Audi Q5. I don't remember if the newer one was more difficult or less difficult. But I know the new A4s are not super fun. Ooh. That doesn't look super fun, that's for sure. This thing right here. Ugh. Can you just show me the picture that I clicked on? There we go. This, whenever I see the window come down to a point like this, that's as much as I got to two-stage a window. That's not fun. Ugh, and Audi seals are definitely not fun. So, yeah. I haven't done a new Q5, not yet anyways. And I man, if Audi disappeared entirely from my work schedule, I'd be so happy. The last shop that I tinted for, it became like Audi City. It was literally like every day that I was there was at least 2 Audis to tint. And I was just like, what the hell are you guys doing? And they're like, I don't know, we just get a bunch of Audis. I got better at doing them. FK, that thing right there. We are on the same page, my dude. It's just, Audis, like, you can get used to them to a point, but installing them the way I do, they're never super fun to do. It's always just, once it's done, you're like, cool. I'm on to something different. Give me these all day long with dirt. Yes, fantastic. I'll take that over a brand new Audi all day long. I love the type of cars that I tint. I just, it's, most of them are awesome. Like, because, let's look at my library really quick. Desktop. Wait, the new 5 Series are worse? Really? Because the X5s were not, like, X3s and X5s, those were very easy vehicles. They were like some of my favorite BMWs to tint. But that sucks, the new ones are not fun. So this was an older model X4 too. So like look through my library. I got an F250, BMW, Impala, Camry, Focus, Encore, a Kona, a Model Y, a K5, CT5, F150, Highlander. Like these are all pretty straightforward vehicles. None of them are crazy. And then you get into a new A4. But we have pretty like, yeah, most of the vehicles that I do are nothing outrageous. An Audi A7 over here. a BMW M5, that's fine. An IS 500, the seals pop out. I love the types of cars that I have to work on. Some of them are just challenging enough, and nothing generally makes me too crazy. I still might have frustrating problems on any one of them, but they're all like, I know going into it pretty much how it's going to go. I tinted a Q7. Wasn't really that hard, to be honest. You made me nervous going into that one. It probably just depends on the model range, but yeah, they can be annoying. But that's good that you got it. So, like, some people will go into that having only tinted stuff like this, and then it is just an utter pain in the ass. But if you have, like, a catalog more along the lines of I have, a Q7 is, like, starting to push the difficulty, but it's not too crazy. But some of the new Audis that I'm seeing and hearing about, not super fun. I'm going to try an R8 and an M2 this weekend. The R8 is hard. So the R8, the one that we did, it's just really curved door windows, and the seal was tucked down farther and tight. So it was like we finally got it tinted, but then it would come back and with peeling windows. Like it just, I don't know. I didn't have a great experience doing this R8. I don't remember. So this was at least like 4 or 5 years ago. Actually, it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago at this point. So I don't know if they've changed at all. But yeah, this door window, it's frameless and it's curved more than it looks. So it's more along the lines of tinting a Corvette door window, which is really annoying inner seals. I would 100% want to remove them, and I think it would be worth it. I didn't look up that video. I don't know if somebody has a video on taking apart an R8 door panel. Little nervous on that one. But if you can pop the seals out of the way, then it'd be much easier. When will you end the stream? Actually, now. I need to hop off. So, you ended it. Dang. Next stream looks like we'll be back on, let's see, today's Wednesday, Thursday busy, Friday. It'll either be Friday or Saturday. It just kind of depends on how I feel, I think. I got appointments both days lined up, so I got to pick something. Friday, I have more appointments to do, and then Saturday right now I have the one. We might just do the morning appointment. Do you ever have people do carbon on the rear and ceramic on the front windshield? It's very rare. Part of that is kind of the pricing structure. At least most of the time when I quoted people, I was doing ceramic for like $650, and the carbon was like $500 to like $550. So it's when you start like breaking down, okay, what do I lose for that $100, or what do I lose for that $150? Like when you start spacing those things out a little bit, the farther that you get, you'll see that a little bit more. But if you keep it relatively close, you like ladder people up into just like, well, it doesn't really save me much money. I might as well just get it. Didn't you do that on Sienna? No, I did ceramic on the front, and I didn't do anything on the back. I was going to tint the back, and then we got rid of it. We were right in winter time, too. So I was just busy. There were times that I should have done the rear of that, and I just never ended up doing it. It's odd not seeing you do the windshield on this one. I am so happy. I do windshields on so many cars. I'm glad to finally just do all the sides and the rear, not have to worry about a full windshield. But yeah, full windshields have become like such a main part of my business. This one was just a pretty straightforward, all the sides and the rear, carbon 350. So, yep, not a whole heck of a lot of time on this one. I still told them 3 hours though, and now I'm looking at the clock like I was way sooner than I thought. I like spaced out for a sec. I was thinking I forgot the last window after that phone call. No, I did it. Should I up your ceramic price on the windshield? $20 or something? It'd probably be like $50. So right now, I'm quoting most ceramic. That's 700. And from there, like, I want to do Apex or something. I want to have like a different offering up that high rather than just make my ceramic more and more expensive. Because you might as well like shoot up like, oh, I've got this other ceramic that's even more, and then you get up like another 250 or something. Full car cuts down the heat so much, especially when I'm in college. Yeah, he just didn't want to do the windshield, I guess. Some people are like that, though. They do everything on all the sides in the rear, and they don't really think about, like, some people are kind of coming from it, like, they've had tint before, so they kind of know the drill, and they're in that, all the sides, nothing on the windshield, because that's the way it's been for a long time. Oh my God, did you sell your tires? No, we just kicked them outside by the dumpster. Somebody's going to take them. We just got to move the tiles. No, okay, so like I had Jack go through, he painted all the walls, and then he just did trim yesterday. So now everything is nice and clean. Trying to just straighten this place up. Working on a couple of things, so. Alrighty, my dudes. Thank you for hanging out today. Like I said, I'll be back either Friday or Saturday. We'll do a stream. Thank you so much for hanging out. Thank you to the super chat. I think it was DC Customs, right? I got rid of the window. It's not. Oh, wait, no, it's right there. DC Customs. Thank you so much for the 5. I appreciate it. And thank you guys. Thank you to everybody else for hanging out. I will see you later. Bye.